Welcome back to CNN's live coverage of the 88th Academy Awards. The stars are beginning to arrive on the red carpet. You want to know what it's like to wind your way through the streets of busy Los Angeles on the way to the Academy Awards? Somebody got the gig. Stephanie Elam, living the dream. She's riding along with Best Original Screenplay nominee for Straight Outta Compton, one of my favorite films. Ask Leigh Savidge is his beautiful wife, Vida. Stephanie, you try to get to the Dolby Theater in LA traffic. Girl, you going to make it on time?
We are going to make it on time. We left on time. Everything is looking good, Michaela. Okay. We are right now at a traffic light. All's well. We're obeying all the laws. We are not rushing to get there. But we are out. We are making our way there in the limo. We're calling it the CNN Oscar. Get it? Ha 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 ha. I came up with that myself. You can all tweet
so
me if you don't
clever.
like it. It's fine. I did that. But we are here in the limo riding along with Leigh Savidge, as you said, and this lovely wife, Vida. He is nominated for Best Original Screenplay. All right, so here's the feeling. I want to know, nerves? Are you thinking about it yet? What's in your mind right now, Leigh?
It's all good. I've got my Hart Shafter and Mark's tux that got FedEx from Chicago, and Vida's got her dress, Eliza of Beverly Hills. So
yeah, Vida's looking great. She's got her diamonds on. You're ready to go. Everything's there, but you don't have any jitters at all?
I don't know. We'll see as we get closer.
You're the only one from the movie that's nominated. You and the other writers.
The other four writers.
The other four writers.
Three writers.
Three writers, counting yourself. What? Were you surprised to find out that you were the only one from the movie that was nominated, the writers?
You know, I don't think you have any expectation of, being nominated. It just sort of happens. So, I mean, obviously I'm thrilled. But was I thinking that was going to happen? Not necessarily. So it's super exciting when it does. Yeah.
You've spent a lot of your career looking at places in the marketplace that haven't been filled, and a lot of that being around Black media, Black cinema.
Yes.
This is not something that's new for you. You worked on like 20-some drafts to get to where you are.
Right. Right.
Do you find it surprising that we're still having this conversation in 2016?
All I can say is that it's very clear that you can monetize. That there's money in this and there's opportunity in this, and the success of Compton shows that. And it's something I've been saying for almost 3 decades. That there is. I saw how the hip hop music movement directly affected opportunities for Black entertainers, back into the into the 90s. And are we still having this conversation? Well, we shouldn't be, really.
But we are.
Yes, we
okay,
are.
So tell me this. How hard is it to work on a film about people, many of whom are still very much alive and a part of the project?
Well, it's a process. Like my role was to, write as the blank page writer, to write the many drafts, and I pulled in my friend Alan Winkus, and we worked together for many years, probably 4 years before we convinced Tamika Woods Wright, who's the widow of Easy, to put her rights with the script. And that's the package that New Line bought, and that's what legitimized this project in the Hollywood ecosystem.
Yeah,
it was really so. Toby Emmerich at New Line was critical.
That's
to
key,
getting
because you couldn't do
Yeah.
this movie without the music.
Couldn't.
So we're going to keep riding along with Leigh and Vida. But Don, I'm going to send it back to you on the red carpet. But we'll still keep making our way towards you at the Dolby Theater.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Be safe, and we'll see you as soon as you get here. We're here with Adam McKay. 5 times the movie is nominated 5 times. Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay. Christian Bale's also nominated for Best Supporting Actor. So, first of all, how do you feel?
I feel a little overwhelmed, but mostly happy that people connected with this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we made the movie.
It's interesting that the movie's about the financial crisis back in 2007, 2008, and a lot of people in the country were affected by it, but we're still reeling from the ramifications of this financial crisis with housing, with the economy, and we're still dealing with it. Talking about it in politics today with the presidential race.
Yeah, it isn't over. I mean, that's what I loved about this story was even though it was 2007, 2008, 2008, the effects of it are being felt across the board. I mean, you look at the majority of the wealth lost was all in the middle, lower classes. The wealth that's been recovered has been in the upper 1%, and income inequality is one of the big subjects that everyone's talking about.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders endorsed the movie, which is not surprising considering what he's talking about on the campaign trail, wealth inequality and so on and so forth. And listen, you will talk about politics. Politics is huge right now, and this movie plays right into that.
Well, I got to be honest, I don't think politics is politics. I think politics is about policy decisions. It's about how we lead our country. A lot of people treat it like it's a separate subject, but there's been a lot of Republicans that have liked this movie as well, because we all recognize these banks behaved irresponsibly. And I've been really happy with the bipartisan response this movie has gotten.
Yeah, because listen, when you're talking about the economy, I think everyone is involved. We know you from Anchorman 2, also from Step Brothers. What's it like working with the caliber of actors that you get to work with, especially someone like Christian Bale?
It was incredible. I mean, Christian Bale's amazing. Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling. They're all guys who were able to subvert their egos to play these real people, these outsiders, and they were excited at the chance. They didn't care about how they looked in scenes, and I needed that level of actor to pull this off. So it was amazing.
Before I let you go, I just have to ask you one more thing. I don't know if you saw the movie Madoff, the made-for-TV movie Madoff. It's surprising that one person, or relatively obscure person, can uncover and that's what happened in your movie when you have all of these experts and no one uncovers what's going on.
Well, that was one of the inspirations for this movie, was the story of the guy who caught Madoff that no one would listen to because he was socially awkward. And I think it's a question of who are we listening to for our authority? And no offense to you, but who are we listening to in the media? Who are we listening to for our truth? And that's what I loved about this movie. These were guys that don't make eye contact. These are guys that are awkward socially, but they knew the truth. And the truth, a lot of times, is just mathematical, and we need to retrain ourselves to look for that.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Best of luck to you tonight.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you. So listen, this is what's happening now, Michaela. We're talking a lot about hashtag Oscars so white. We're talking about the financial crisis. You heard Adam mention. He said it's politics is not separate. It's all tied in. So it's going to be a very fun Oscars. Everyone wants to know who you're wearing. But we're also going to be talking about some pretty newsy issues here, which is why it's important that CNN be here at the Oscars this year.
Absolutely. Look, we do love the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, but we do want to talk about the things that are on the nation's mind. We know that comedy and race are going to collide at tonight's Academy Awards. The lack of diversity among nominees sparked controversy. Only 2 African Americans nominated. The show's host is one of America's most provocative comedians, Mr. Chris Rock. I think everybody is anxious to see how he's going to address the issue, because he's going to go there. Obviously, this is a conversation we want to bring Alicia and Don into. Don, we've been hearing that he's been doing some material around town, working on his stand-up routine, but he hasn't done a whole lot of press. He's been pretty mum on the topic. But, I was thinking about it. This is an African-American comedian at a time when this nation is having this conversation. He's got to address it.
And it's perfect. And on the way here, I was reading the Hollywood Reporter. Look at the Hollywood Reporter. He's on the cover. It's on the cover of Variety. All of the industry magazines talking about this. It's about half of this issue discussing the issue of race and diversity, not only among the Academy, but also in Hollywood. And Chris Rock, whether it's by happenstance or whatever, he is the perfect host. And as I have been going around Los Angeles and around Hollywood, people are discussing about him and the team of writers, Dave Chappelle on board. He wants to get it perfectly, and the Academy is well aware that Chris Rock is going to hit them and go head on and talk about what's happening here in Hollywood. I can't wait to see what he has to say.
They know who they hired for the gig, right? That is no surprise. He did it back in 2005,
absolutely.
Alicia. This is a very different time in our world, very different time as the nation. But, it's interesting. The Oscars so white, there's been this idea that, the boycott is a good idea. It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
A lot of people are pointing out the fact the Academy isn't necessarily the problem. It's Hollywood in general. They have to diversify the projects that are getting greenlit.
Yeah, I think this year there were definitely performances that should have been nominated, like Idris Elba in Beast of No Nation, who was fantastic. But it does point to a wider problem in Hollywood that non-white actors just aren't getting the opportunities right from the start. right when a film is cast and greenlit. And as a film lover, I want to see all types of people included and all types of stories told. Makes it more interesting.
Do you think that this conversation and the fact that this is happening now, do you think it's going to move the needle at all? Or do you think we're going to, because there are people that said, look, we've had this problem in Hollywood for a long time.
Yeah.
Do you think it's now time that maybe things are going to change?
I think it can't be ignored. I mean, I remember having this conversation last year when we're in the same position.
It's year two.
And Selma, I think, should have definitely
Absolutely
been nominated
should've.
last year. And now nothing's changed. But I feel a change in the air. I feel like this conversation has dominated award season. And it's been really important for us to all have this conversation. I think change will be really slow, but I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic.
I think hope is always a good thing. All right. We want to hear from you at home. Our question for you right now: will Chris Rock skewer Hollywood over diversity? Right now, it looks like about 75% of you say yes, he's going to do it. You can go to CNN.com/awards, vote to weigh in. We're going to take a short break, powder our noses. The excitement is building here outside the Dolby Theater. Do not miss a moment of the red carpet action here with us for Hollywood's biggest night.
Here comes your right.